Hi, this is Karen with Karen's Cards and More, and today I want to do a card featuring products at a Celebration. Celebration is this little thin catalog. Let me say this, if you are new to my channel, I am an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up! Products, and in the month of January, which is almost over, or February of 2022, if you spend $50 or more, there's some free things that you can get, and it's in this little celebration catalog. And there's some really neat things in here, but I want to feature on page 13. If you spend $100, you can get this Friendly Hello stamp set and the designer series paper. It's really good value. If there's stuff you've been wanting anyway and you're going to spend the money anyway, why not get some free stuff? There's plenty of other things. If this isn't your particular taste, there's plenty of other things here in the catalog. Just really neat things. If you would like to place an order to take advantage of this, you could go to my website, karensmith.stampinup.net, and you'll be able to order anything from there. And this one happens to be if you spend $100, but let me just show you some of the others. If you spend $50, you can get this designer series paper. There's stamp sets in here. Let me try to find. Okay, here's some stamp sets. If you spend $50, you can get this Catching Butterflies, or you can get this Driving By. So there's a lot to choose from. So be sure and check that out, and I thank you in advance for any orders that get placed. So we're going to be talking about this Hello Friend set. We're going to use the designer series paper, and we're going to use the stamp set. Let me show you the card that we're going to make. I love the combination of the petal pink with the black, and so that's what we're going to feature today. And on the inside, I just did some subtle stamping, plenty of room to write a message. This could be, you could use this for a lot of different, you could make it a thank you. Because it's just hello friend, you could write a get well message in there. You could write thinking of you. You could write thank yous. So there's just a wide range. You could use it for almost anything. You could use it for a birthday card, write a birthday greeting on the inside. So a lot of different usage. Really easy to put together. And I'll tell you what I like about this card. If you are an avid card maker, this is a great card because sometimes you just need something to put together fast. And by using the mats and the layers and the different components of this card, it looks like you spent a lot of time and you get a wow factor, and it's really easy. If you are a beginning card maker, sometimes we see the videos with all the techniques and we think, man, I don't know. I don't feel like I could do that. This is really easy because all you're doing is some trimming with your trimmer. You're cutting the pieces to the right size and then attaching them. The hardest thing that you're going to do is cut around this, which isn't hard at all, but there's no real advanced techniques to this. It's really a pretty simple card, but yet it looks like you've been doing cards for a long time. So I think it's a great card no matter where you fall on the spectrum. So let's talk about what you need to do that. You're going to need a piece of basic black, and this is 8.5 by 5.5, scored on the long side at 4 1/4. You're going to need a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5.5 by 5 1/4, 4 by 5 1/4. You're going to need a piece of petal pink that is the same size, 4 by 5 1/4. You're going to need a piece of designer series paper that is 3 3/4 by 5. Then you're going to need a piece of the basic black that is 1 1/4 by 4. A piece of basic black that is 3 by 2, or 2 by 3, I should say. A piece of petal pink that is 1 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then you're going to need a piece of the basic white that is 2.5 by 1.5. Now this is a polymer set, So you're going to want some piece of foam, a paper piercing mat. This is a foam mat that came inside my Stamparatus. Sometimes I use a piece of just like packing foam. So whatever you have that's kind of a soft, let me show you this. This is a piece of just like can go in an envelope, packing foam. Sometimes I use that. So just something that has a little give to it, and you're going to get a better image when you go to stamp. So we don't have a whole lot of stamping to do. We're going to stamp on our little white piece for the front, and then we're going to stamp on our white piece that's going on the inside. So that's all the stamping that we're going to do. So let's start with the Hello Friend that goes on the front. And here you can see it's just a clear stamp. And I'm going to be using the Memento ink, the black Memento. And if this is the first time you use the stamp set, I always start by, you can season it in a couple ways. You can just run it across your skin, and that will help. Or you could stamp with Versamark ink. Your first stamp, do a Versamark ink on a scrap piece of paper to get the stamp ready to use. And then I always ink it up and stamp on scrap paper 2 or 3 times. And that just gets it to where by the time I'm ready to do my project, I'm getting a really good stamp, okay? So I'm gonna ink this up. And this is a pretty thick greeting. So I wanna look at it and make sure I've got good coverage of the ink. And I'm just going to keep tapping and getting ink on there until I feel like I've got good coverage on all the letters. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then I'm just going to center this on this little piece of white. I'm just going to press down, hold for a minute. There we have our Hello Friend. And then I'm going to use the Petal Pink. And we're going to be doing this, there's 2 of the flowers that are together on a stamp. So we're going to be using that. And we're going to do this in this bottom corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tuck a scrap piece of paper underneath so that if I want to put it like in the corner and part of it goes off, it won't be on my mat, it'll be on this scrap paper. So we're going to use the Petal Pink for this. I'm just going to ink this up, and then I'm just going to play with turning it to see where I want it. I like it like that, so I'm just going to hold it down there. And there, our stamping's done. So just like that, we're ready to start putting it together. Not much stamping, very easy stamping. The only thing that we have left to do is on the Designer Series paper, there's these little flowers that are 2 together. And I wanted to use that, but this particular set, there's no die set for it. So you can't just use the die to cut it out. So I did fussy cutting. And if you don't know, if you're new to card making and you don't know the term fussy cutting, let me just explain it real quick. It's cutting around the outside of the flower so that you have this cutout that you can put on your card. Just a few tips. I like the little scissors because they're easier to control for me. That's just a personal preference. But this isn't like in school when you want to cut right on the lines. And this particular design, you can see the white underneath is offset from the black, so it's really forgiving. That makes it a really good project to start with fussy cutting. And then you want to turn your paper, not your scissors. So when I start, I just want to turn the paper and not my scissors. And don't feel like, you may watch a video and someone's going around this real quick and you think, oh man, I can't go that fast. Don't go fast, just go slow. And you just want to leave a little bit of the outside on there. You don't want to go right up to the black line. Leave a border. And just keep going all the way around. Now, because of time on the video, I'm not going to cut the whole thing out on camera, but you get the idea of what we're doing. Here's one that I already have cut out. So that's the one we're going to be using. And we're going to start putting this together. So let's start with this white piece. And we're just going to put Stampin' Seal on the back. And I just go around all 4 sides. Just like that. And we're just going to attach it to our black piece. And I'm just trying to make sure that I've got it equidistance. We're going to press that down. Okay. All right, now that's the inside of our card, so we know this is the front. So I'm going to flip it over like that, and we're going to start putting the front together. We're going to start with our petal pink piece, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just putting the Stampin' Seal on the back. I just go along all the sides. I'm just going to turn this because it's easier for me to try to get it centered. And so I'm looking across the bottom and on the sides to make sure I've got it the same distance. That looks good. Now, before we put the Designer Series paper piece on, I want to add the black ribbon. And I'm using this glittered organdy black ribbon. And you've probably seen me do that. If you've watched many of my videos, you've seen me do this before. What I do is I just turn it over, and right in the middle, I just put a little Stampin' Seal. Just put a strip. And then I put this in the middle where I want it, and then I just fold that over into that Stampin' Seal that's on the back. And then I'm just going to trim this, giving myself enough to tuck under from this side. I have found this, for me, is the easiest way to get it straight, to get it where I want it, so I can make sure it's how I want it. And then I can press this down on the other side, just like that. Okay, then what I do is I just go ahead and put the Stampin' Seal like I normally would, going right over top of that ribbon. I just run it right over top of it. That helps hold it down, and then it helps hold this piece to the card. I'm going to bring this back in. And again, I'm just looking to try to get it centered. That looks good. Press that down. Okay. Next, we're going to put our longer black piece on, and that's going to help hold that ribbon. And we're just going to be centering that on the ribbon. So I'm just going to put some strips of the Stampin' Seal right down this. Just like that. And then I'm just looking to center this. And then pressing it down. Okay, now we're ready to put our other mats. Mats just dress your card up, and really doesn't take much, but it really dresses it up. So that's what I like about using all the different layers. So I'm gonna, on the back of the white piece, I'm just adding some Stampin' Seal, and this is gonna go on top of the pink petal pink. So I'm just going to center that like that. And then we're ready to put the petal pink piece on top of the little black piece. Now, when I did all these layering, I did not use dimensionals because I felt like with all the layers, I didn't really need to pop it up. But if you wanted to do that, you could. I just felt like because of all the layers, I didn't really need the dimensions. So then we're just going to add this. We're just going to center this on here like that. So same process. We're just going to add Stampin' Seal on the back. And then we're going to center this just like that. And then we're ready to add this right here. Now, you can use glue dots to attach it on here. You could put dimensionals under the top part if you wanted. However you want to do it. What I did is I put dimensionals. I used the mini dimensionals. And I just put them along the top. What's going to be the top. And then I used, just to anchor it a little bit, I used a glue dot on the bottom part. So I'm just going to put a glue dot just right on that one bottom part, just to hold it a little bit to the tag. Okay. Now I'm ready to pull the backing off. And we're ready to just stick this on here. Just like that. And then the only thing left, I wanted to add a few jewels to it. I always like to use jewels. And so I'm just using the basic rhinestones. And I put one in each of the centers of the flowers. And I'm just using my Take Your Pick tool. Just putting it right in the center. And this flower has a bigger center. You could use one of the bigger ones on that one if you wanted. I used all the same sides, but now that I look at it, that would look pretty. And then this other one I'm just going to put down in this corner. And then we're ready. I'm just going to fold this up. I'm going to turn it over, and I'm just going to use my bone folder to give it a good crease, just to help it fold nicely. And there we have it. Quick, easy, but you get a lot of wow factor because of all the layers. So I hope you like this designer series paper and the stamp set as much as I do. Let me show you the stamp set again. It has the Hello Friend that we just used, has a few other greetings, but then it has these flowers, and I love this bird here. So you get a lot with this. You got all these leaves and then these little, I don't know what those would be called. You could use in the background to create a background. Just a really neat set. And you can get that plus the pack of designer series paper, which is double-sided. It's 12 by 12. Great value for spending money that you would have already spent anyway. You may have a wish list started, and this you might as well buy it when you can get something for free is the way I look at it. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you'll get your stamp sets out and play and see what you can come up with. I will look forward to crafting again with you soon.